Greetings, music fans. This is Peter Skov for Music is a Journey, and here we are finally getting around to episode 50. Yeah, we finally got here. So, episode 50, what are we going to do? Well, I thought for this episode here, we might just take a look back. Now that we've done that, let's move on. No, that's an old Saturday Night Live joke. No, I thought what I would do was, take a look back at this channel, talk about its origins, take a look at some of the things we've covered, and show some various clips from various episodes in the past. So, if you'll stick with me, then that's what we're going to do for this episode here. Okay, so Music is a Journey was actually born out of an idea that I had to make a video for the late English guitarist Colin Tench. I had a new camera that had a video function, and I didn't really have any use for it, but I started watching some videos on YouTube of people talking about different albums they had or different bands, and I thought, you know what, maybe I can make such a video for Colin Tench. Colin was, he was originally with a band called Corvus Stone, and they had just released their second album. And I was reviewing albums on Prog Archives, and he sent me a private message asking if I would be interested in reviewing the Corvus Stone 2 album. He said he would send it to me, and I thought, wow, that's really cool that somebody would think to ask me to review their album in exchange for sending me a free copy. That's awesome. So I did that, and from then on, Colin and I kind of hit it off, and we stayed in touch, exchanging messages from time to time, and there'd be times where he would contact me and say, hey, I've got a new song in the works, could you give it a listen and give me your thoughts? I didn't think my opinion was all that particularly valuable, but I don't know, he saw something in what I had to say, so yeah, alright. So that was pretty cool, and he started his Colin Tench project, releasing one album, and then in December of 2017, the second album was due out. And so that's where the idea was born, that I could make a video taking a kind of retrospective look at his fairly young career, more recent career anyway, in music, playing of course with Corvus Stone, as well as Ocean's 5, Murky Red, Minstrel's Ghost, and various other albums, and various other bands, and as well as albums he appeared on. And so I began thinking about what I was going to do for that. The new album was released, and then just a few days after that, Colin very suddenly passed away. And so this was all very shocking news for all of us who had come in contact with him, especially those of us over the last few years who had gotten to know him and really appreciated him, really appreciated his friendship. So I thought, I'm still going to go ahead with my video. And I hear the cat calling, of course. So I went ahead and made my video for Colin Tench, and that turned out to be episode 1 of Music is a Journey. And then I thought, there are other people I got to know through Colin, or people I got to know through the people who I knew through Colin. So since I can actually reach out to these people and ask for permission to use their music in my videos, I'm going to go ahead and make more episodes introducing some of these other acts. And so that's what I did. And so the first several episodes of Music is a Journey came out back in 2018. And then, of course, I wrapped up the year doing 12 albums by 12 bands for my first 12th, final episode of the year in a multiple of 12 featuring 12 albums, that kind of thing, and that's where that was born. So that's how Music is a Journey got started. So over the years now, there have been a lot of artists that I have featured regularly on this channel, and because I have direct contact with them, I was able to ask permission either to them or to their labels to ask if it was okay to feature some of the music. And let's just take a look at some of all the artists that have been featured on Music is a Journey. Over the last 4 years, I've had the privilege and honor of featuring music by Band of Rain, Babel, Carabao, Murky Red, Marco Ragni, Peter Jones, Peter McNuchniak, Steve Bonino, Granval, Petri Lindstrom and Associated Acts, Merrick Arnold and Associated Acts, Sean Timms, Guy Manning, Cell 15, Third Degree, Steve Gresswell, Karma Moy, Paul Spear, Johannes Lully and Associated Acts, Gordo Bennett, Transport Aryan, and several Melodic Revolution Records recording artists who were not included in the list I just mentioned. I've also been able to reach out to artists such as Fido and Frequency Drift, and a host of Canadian metal bands, especially a lot who were signed with the former label Diminished Fifth Records. One highlight was when I had an actual face-to-face interview with award-winning keyboardist and producer Chris Gestrin. You can find samples of music of all of these artists on previous episodes of Music is a Journey. Most episodes of Music as a Journey have been brought to you by me sitting in this chair. However, that was not always the plan. Originally, I had thought to use my walk-in closet as the setting.
Hey, look at this place. It's a mess. There's just stuff piled in here everywhere. How am I supposed to have Pete's walk-in music closet with this kind of a setup? Alright, give me a couple of weeks to see what I can do to get this place all set up. Yeah.
However, the closet is packed with so many things, it seemed that it would actually be a mistake to try to take everything out and turn it into a kind of small YouTube channel studio type thing. So I opted to go for this table here.
Good day, folks. I'm Pete, and this is my Music Corner. Okay, today is test video number 9, and today I'm just going to talk about 3 new albums I picked up, and these are actually not new albums, these are old ones from the 1970s, because I'm a big fan of 70s hard rock and heavy metal. And the first one here, this is Kiss. Now, this is not my first Kiss album. My first one was Asylum, which I bought on cassette way back in the 80s when it came out. I wasn't particularly thrilled with it, and I never really got into Kiss, but I always knew Kiss was a band that probably I should check out since I'm into 70s hard rock and 70s metal. So after giving a few quick listens on YouTube to some of their albums, I decided to go with the debut.
I made several test videos to make sure that I had the settings right, and to be honest, I still don't think I've got the recording volume background fuzz noise sorted. But anyway, I was able to test different video settings, and as well about putting together a video, editing a video. The application that I've been using mostly is a free application called Shotcut, but more recently I've been using iMovie more and more, either for certain effects to later on put into the Shotcut edited videos, or actually to edit almost everything in iMovie. Before I finished the Call and Tench video, I actually went ahead and tried to make a kind of sample pilot episode for Music as a Journey. At the time, I found that a number of the CDs, reissues that I had recently got from the early 80s, all had really cruddy remastering with very brick-walled sound or lots of static or scratchy sounds that I felt shouldn't have been there. And so that actually was what inspired the never before released pilot episode. But here are a few clips from that one, just so you can see what it was like. There's one part after the big intro where the music quiets down and there's just a little bit of soft electric guitar and Brian Vollmer is singing, and there's this scratchy echo behind his voice. Now, I had this on cassette in the 1980s, and I can tell you that sound was not on the cassette. What was going on here? Why were some of the reissues on Rock Candy coming with this staticky, scratchy background sound?
Okay, so it's the late 1970s and your band is in the studio. You've just finished recording all the tracks for your new album. You've got 16 tracks of recording, including vocals, backing vocals, guitars, keyboards, bass, drums, percussion, and maybe even brass, woodwinds, strings, whatever you want to put on there. Now you've got all this data on the tape, and it has to be put down onto a dual track master tape.
So what I'm going to suggest to those labels whose albums I mentioned, why not remaster them one more time, and this time get a qualified person and someone who really cares about how the music sounds. Don't just bring some guy in and show him how to push the buttons and bleep blop bloop, hit record, it's off for a big wank and an orange juice, and then print out 15,000 copies for sale. No, get someone who cares and who wants to make the album sound as good as possible. Unfortunately, I was never able to complete the video because I was doing it all on a laptop, which actually doesn't have a very powerful, graphics card or central processing unit. And once I tried to add in a second video track in order to put in additional photos, the application kept freezing and crashing, and in the end I was never able to finish making the video. Music is a Journey started out as a platform for introducing various recording artists. However, I always knew early on that that was not the only thing that I wanted to do. The actual episodes versus other videos on this channel were split by basically length and subject matter. So anything that has actually been labeled as an episode on my channel, the videos usually go from about 35 to 45 minutes, with some being slightly shorter and some being even longer. The subjects have included introducing and reviewing various new album releases, discussing various artists and their careers, or sometimes focusing exclusively on a single artist and their entire career. As well, I've also taken a look at periods in music history, particularly in where it's related to heavy metal or early heavy metal or those kinds of things. We looked at the new wave of British heavy metal, also like early heavy riffs from the early 70s. And on top of that, I have also gone over some lists such as the top 25 old school death metal albums or top 25 thrash metal albums and various other things like that. Where videos were shorter was where I usually gave a kind of brief introduction to a band that I was into at that moment when I decided to make that video. Or there have been some other cases such as opening things that came in the mail and maybe introducing a new album, a single new album by a single artist, or giving some kind of review. Those videos were always much shorter, like 10, 15, 20 minutes, and never became official episodes. As well, there was this side trips bit that I did 3 or 4 episodes for, and after that never got around to doing any more of those. Initially, when I started dreaming up my videos, I thought about different things I could do to make them a little bit more fun, such as including in gags or making up characters. And over the last, I guess almost 50 episodes anyway, I have introduced various characters who sometimes made 2 or 3 appearances in the past videos. So let's just take a look back now at some clips from some of the different characters that have appeared in Music is a Journey.
Oh, I was just looking over your notes here for episode 8, and I see you're planning to do a 3rd-degree burn gag. You want to tell me what that's all about? It's having to endure the agonizing pain and the agony of the healing process. 3rd-degree burn victims have to go through life with a kind of a disfigurement, a stigma. So I don't see that there's anything funny in that. That is not PC.
Mummy, I want to play with Peter tomorrow.
Peter Jones? No, I've told you before, I'll not have you playing with that boy.
Oh, but Mummy, he plays such beautiful music.
No, Peter Jones is peculiar. He likes Genesis. Why don't you go play with your Uncle Johnny? So what did you find?
It says here it was Steppenwolf in 1968, with the song Born to be Wild.
Well, that's the answer then, isn't it?
But that was heavy metal thunder, like a motorcycle engine.
Good day! I am just enjoying a little drink and listening to some classic death metal. Somebody put a Siamese fighting fish in my drink, but I drank it.
Alright, that concludes our opening discussion, and now I'd like you all to take out your books. As I told you, we'll be starting these from today. Everyone brought their copy, I hope?
Professor, I'm sorry, I don't
Yes?
have the book with me today.
Why not?
Oh, I just forgot to bring mine.
Yeah, no, I forgot to bring mine too.
Class, I believe I told you very distinctly last Friday that we would be starting to look at progressive rock from the beginning.
During the course of our lives, we have the opportunities to meet many different people. Sometimes we get casually acquainted with them, get to know them a little bit. And then after a while, our lives just move on in different ways. And then some 20-odd years later, we run into that person again. Only this time, he's 20 years younger than when we last met him.
I wanna rock!
Yeah, like that. So you put this on, crank the volume.
Yeah!
Yeah, okay, so yeah, it's a really fun album to listen to.
I can't hear you! I can smell your feet way at the back!
Okay, can somebody get this guy to stop appearing in the video? He's...
Somebody threw a shoe at me. It's just my size. Throw the other one.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all very much for having me here today. I'll make my presentation fairly short. I think you will all understand my point very soon. First of all,
Ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablet. It's, unfamiliar characters to me. These ones I know. Stand this way, perhaps.
Meanwhile, back in the United States, on the East Coast in the state of Florida, a new extreme metal scene was emerging in response to the California thrash metal scene.
Did I ever tell you the time I started working in a lumber camp the first time? I was about 19 years old and I went to this lumber camp up north. So, I entered the camp and I see some guy. I say to him, "Excuse me, I'm looking for the foreman, yeah?"
As I said, most of the videos are presented from this table here and this very seat. However, I have done videos from different locations around the house, and I often try to do videos from outside as well. So there have been times where I went out specifically to photograph somewhere and brought the microphone and so on along, plus a rough script, and recorded things in different locations. So let's just take a look back at some of those locations that I went to. And as well, I think I'm probably going to pop in a scene or two that I had actually planned to use but ended up never using. What a waste. Let's put those in as well. Here we go.
I'd like to talk about Petra. Petra are probably like...
Hey everybody, this is Peter Scove here, and I'm working on editing my latest video.
Now, what if in the future, technology gave you better health, a smarter brain, a longer, healthier life?
After the band's first 4 albums, they then took some of their more popular songs from each of those 4 albums, re-recorded them, and then released them on a new album called Hot Shots. It would be tempting to say that death metal caught on because of the American influence, but it's very important to consider what was happening in Europe at the time as well.
Metal, on the other hand, was not being used to describe music at all for a long time, and in fact the terms heavy metal show up only on the periodic table of elements. So if heavy metal supposedly died in the early 1970s, around 1971-72, then whatever happened to it?
Gordo!
Gordo! Gordo! It's a beautiful winter morning here in Saitama, Japan, and I thought I'd introduce a new concept for Music as a Journey. This is side trips. Let's cue the music. Hey everyone, this is Peter Skov for Music as a Journey. It's a beautiful day here, March 29th, in Saitama Prefecture, Japan. Alright, so we're back and ready to do part 2. I hope you really enjoyed the music in part 1. If you haven't seen it yet, please go ahead and watch it after this.
I actually always thought it would be pretty cool if I could use my own music in my videos. And there have been a couple of videos where I played a bit of guitar, one where I even played on an organ at a kindergarten, or tinkled around on the piano a bit. I don't know if that one got included or not. But anyway, I've done that for my videos, and as well I actually composed some stuff using GarageBand, the GarageBand app. These GarageBand app short compositions appeared in various Music as a Journey videos over the last few years. However, disaster struck one day after I had transferred all those files to an external hard drive on my computer. I decided I didn't need to keep them in my phone memory, and so I asked the phone to remove all the files from the iCloud, and it asked me, do you want to remove them from the iCloud only? And I said yes. A couple of weeks later, when I wanted to check out some of the files on the phone, I found there was nothing. Not only had it been removed from the iCloud, but it had also been removed from the phone memory as well, from the app, which I thought was strange. So I went to my computer and went to the folder there to check for those files. The folder was empty. Apparently, when I had last backed up my phone, the app must have told my phone to delete all those files as well, and so all those compositions I had spent time with, spent actually several hours on in total putting them all together, were completely wiped out. Lost. So the only samples of them that remain are what was actually used in videos on Music as a Journey. So just for fun, let's just revisit some of those there. Let's take a look.
During the
Also, a clip that was never used, I actually goofed around a little bit on some taiko drums at a kindergarten where I teach. The thing I found was that I cannot actually keep a steady rhythm for very long. As soon as I try to do something else, I lose the beat and it starts sounding, well, like a guy who can't play drums. As well, we also featured some live music on Music is a Journey. I went to a couple of concerts back in, was it 2018, 2019, and brought back a few clips of those to feature. So let's just take a look back now on the 5 different bands that I saw performing live and featured here. We're going to take a look. Let's just take a look. I'll put the names of the bands in the video. Here we go. Live music. Now I'd like to do something a little bit special. Back in 2006, a fellow that I worked with gave me a copy of Fruity Loops 3. At that time, I had a fair bit of free time in the evenings after work or at night, and so I spent some time goofing around putting together some compositions, which I actually saved on an external hard drive and did not lose them. Anyway, I always had in mind that I wanted to do something, and so here's what I did. I decided to put a compilation of various scenes from various clips from Music is a Journey together to a composition that I made using Fruity Loops 3 back in 2006. So either plug your ears, turn off the computer and run away, or just sit back and see what you think. Here we go. This is my composition, which I believe I called Rhythm Dark Asteroid Mix. Whatever. Here it is.
did it. If that dog shut up in the background there.
So now I would like to say a big thank you. Muchas gracias. Merci beaucoup. Obrigado. Tusen tak. Dankeschön. Arigatou gozaimasu. Kamsahamnida. Sheshe ni. To all the people who watched my videos, who commented on my videos, who subscribed. It's been really kind of you. Again, this is not something I ever intended to do to kind of, become rich and famous. But it's been nice to know that at least some people have been watching and been leaving some very nice, constructive, and good comments. And even the odd ones that may have been a little bit more critical, hey, I appreciate them anyway. What's in store for the future of Music as a Journey? Well, to be honest, getting up to 12 full episodes at the end of last year was a bit of a challenge. I think by around October I realized I was only at episode 7 and I had to kind of step on the gas. At the same time, the year end is usually very busy for me. And also recently it has been very busy with getting a new water heater, getting a new washing machine, renewing my driver's license, bringing in my tax return, finishing work for my second job, trying to get stuff sold on Yahoo Auction and some other flea market website. And as well, I have to renew my residence card and another personal identification card I have to go pick up soon. It's not always easy to find the free time to sit down and make these videos. And quite often, I come up with an idea, I think about it, I prepare the ideas, I listen to the music, and by the time I can get around to doing anything, I've actually already moved on to the next interest. And so there are some videos that were planned even 2-3 years ago that have still never been done. So I think I am not going to try to do a full 12 episodes every year. I'm just going to do what I can. So if you don't hear from me for a couple of months, hey, I'm just busy. Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching episode 50. I hope somehow you enjoyed it, this little look back. And hey, if there are any episodes that looked interesting that you might want to go back and check out, please do. And that's all before I end up saying a very long, lengthy goodbye. Everyone, thanks. And I am planning episode 51 very soon. I'm just waiting for a couple of things to arrive in the mail. So that might be up in a couple of weeks. All right, that's it. Seriously. Thank you for watching episode 50 of Music as a Journey. Bye, all.